Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are, it is right now. You are right here. My name is Manuel, and it's my pleasure to welcome you. Today is day 18 of the show, and I have to congratulate you for making the best decision of the day to spend some time with me. Let's get started. So, this morning, I got up, and when I sat down at my desk to get to work, I made the mistake of looking at social media and seeing that it had blown up with the latest controversy, the latest thing that people are outraged about. And I don't feel the need to discuss it specifically because there's always something to be outraged about. So I thought to myself, why don't we talk about outrage and outrage culture today? You see, we live in what I'd call the age of permanent outrage. Not occasional outrage, not justified outrage, permanent outrage. A kind of background radiation that never turns off. It's always humming, always looking for a new host, a new headline, a new 10-second clip to latch onto like a damn parasite. And here's the first thing worth noticing. Outrage is almost never about persuasion. And as you know, we do like to discuss persuasion. You see, outrage pretends to be about persuasion. It dresses itself up as moral urgency, as social responsibility, as raising awareness. But the truth is, outrage is just preaching to the choir. It's performance. It's signaling. It's saying, look at me. I'm on the right team, and I'm angry about the approved thing. If persuasion were the goal, outrage would be the worst possible strategy because the moment someone flies off the handle, they start screaming, start gesticulating, jumping to wild conclusions, basically just acting unhinged, the other side stops listening. They stop listening because that's how humans work. Once emotion spikes past a certain level, the brain shuts the door on new information. That's not political, that's biological, or if you prefer, psychological. Hell, it's both. Right now, at this moment in history, and let's face it, for at least a decade or so, we've reached the point where outrage has become so overused, so abused, that it's lost all signaling power. When everything is an emergency, nothing is. When every story is framed as the end of democracy, an existential threat, literal violence, people tune out because fatigue has set in. So instead of outrage creating action, constant outrage simply creates apathy. It's just another Monday. We see this happen all the time at this point. A snippet of a quote circulates online, no context, no verification, no curiosity, just boom, instant certainty. Someone I already dislike said something I'm primed to hate, therefore it must be true, and therefore I must be furious. Right now. Research is optional. It's inconvenient. Correction? Pah, irrelevant. And retractions don't matter because the emotional hit already landed. Outrage rewards speed. It doesn't give a damn about accuracy. And the media? Come on. The media doesn't just tolerate this, they depend on it. Outrage is the business model. Calm doesn't drive clicks. Nuance never trends. Careful fact-checking doesn't keep you glued to a screen. But you know what does? Anger, fear. That keeps people glued to the screen. So every day becomes a kind of ritual. What are we mad about today? Who's the villain this hour? What phrase are we pretending is newly offensive? It ain't journalism anymore. It's theater. Honestly, it's performance art. Which brings me to Groundhog Day, which was a wonderful annual celebration we just experienced. The groundhog sees his shadow, and we're told that means 6 more weeks of winter. Fair enough. But what he really saw, if you ask me, was 6 more weeks of BS fault outrage, followed by another 6 months, then another 6 years, and if we don't change how we think, probably another 60 after that. Because outrage culture is self-sustaining. It doesn't burn itself out. It feeds on attention, and attention is abundant. Now, here's the part that's uncomfortable, especially for people on the right. Please, hear me. Hear me when I say that. We love to say facts don't care about your feelings. It sounds strong. It sounds rational. It sounds like a mic drop, but it's backwards. The truth, the inconvenient, psychologically accurate truth, is that feelings don't care about your facts. You can present the cleanest data, the clearest charts, the most airtight logic, and if the emotional framing doesn't land, it won't matter. The facts will bounce right off like calculus bouncing off a smooth brain. This is where a lot of conservatives, libertarians, and folks generally on the right make a strategic mistake. They assume that being correct is enough, that if the argument is solid, persuasion will follow automatically, that reality will eventually assert itself. But persuasion doesn't work that way. People don't reason themselves into most of their beliefs. They feel their way into them. And once a belief is emotionally anchored, especially to identity, facts become accessories, not foundations. The left understands this. Whether you admire it or despise it, they understand it. Emotional framing is their home turf. Stories over statistics, symbols over spreadsheets, moral theater over policy footnotes. We've seen what happens when feelings run unchecked by facts. We've seen riots sparked by misinformation. We've seen threats, intimidation, and real-world consequences driven by narratives that later turned out to be complete, outright falsehoods. We've seen people lose their minds over a hat without even checking what it says. That should tell us something important. Emotion is power. Untethered emotion is dangerous power. So, if you're on the right and you actually want to persuade rather than posture, you have to internalize this reality. Understanding how people think isn't surrender. It's not compromise. It's competence. And it will also help with your sanity. Once you understand that feelings don't care about facts, you stop being shocked when facts fail to persuade. You stop assuming bad faith or psychology will do. You stop burning emotional energy, yelling into the void. And here's the twist. Recognizing this doesn't mean abandoning facts. It means packaging them like a human would receive them. It means leading with shared values, not conclusions. It means lowering the emotional temperature instead of matching it. Calm is contagious if someone actually models it. Outrage feels powerful in the moment, but it's lazy power, short-term dopamine, and long-term damage. So maybe the groundhog isn't predicting winter at all. Maybe he's warning us. 6 more weeks of performative outrage unless we decide to opt out, unless we remember that communication is not manipulation and persuasion is not domination. Because if everything causes outrage, then nothing does. And once outrage means nothing, the people who rely on it lose everything. In other words, don't feed the trolls. All right, that's enough for today. We'll continue tomorrow. And as always, be useful.